Lions News Fan Report bringing you another update on NFL market movements. Have you ever noticed how coaches tend to go after players they've worked with before? Whether it's about trust, quick adaptation, or pure necessity, this practice is common in the league, and it might be happening again. This time, the Chicago Bears could be eyeing a veteran from the Detroit Lions to strengthen their offensive line. With Caleb Williams taking over as the starting quarterback and facing shaky protection, the team allowed the most sacks in the NFL. If the Bears want to climb out of the bottom of the NFC North, they urgently need to bolster protection for their young QB. According to Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report, a solution might be close. Kevin Zeitler. The 35-year-old veteran has 13 seasons of experience and a solid playoff history, though he's still chasing that elusive Super Bowl ring. Moreover, there's a factor that could facilitate this possible signing: his connection with Ben Johnson, the Bears' new head coach, who has worked with Zeitler before. Now, the big question is, would Zeitler accept this challenge? Chicago isn't a strong title contender yet, and veterans like him usually prioritize teams that are ready to win now. However, an aggressive offer and the chance to be a key piece in the franchise's rebuild could make him seriously consider making the move. If the Bears really want to level up in 2025, securing a solid reinforcement for the offensive line is no longer an option. It's a necessity. Could Zeitler be the right name for this mission? If the Chicago Bears truly want to compete in the NFC North, they can't just rely on Caleb Williams' talent alone. A quarterback's success in the NFL directly depends on the quality of his offensive line, and so far, this has been one of the franchise's biggest concerns. If Williams keeps struggling with poor protection, no matter how talented he is, the offense simply won't function. And that's where Kevin Zeitler could become a crucial name in this rebuild. He's not just an experienced player, he's a true anchor on the offensive line. His presence in the locker room would bring leadership to a group that urgently needs more stability and discipline. Zeitler has played for multiple franchises and knows exactly what it takes to keep a QB protected at the highest level. The Ben Johnson factor could be the key to this equation. The Bears' new head coach has already worked with Zeitler, knows his strengths, and could be a major influence in convincing him to join the project. If Chicago wants to secure the signing, they need to act fast and offer a solid plan to show that the franchise is committed to building a competitive team around Williams. But would Zeitler accept it? That's the big question. At 35 years old, Zeitler is nearing the end of his career and may want to bet on a team that is already in title contention. He has played in 6 playoffs but has never had the chance to lift the trophy. And for a player with his experience, who still has gas left in the tank, joining a Super Bowl contender might be more attractive than taking part in a rebuilding project. On the other hand, if Zeitler wants a leadership role, Chicago could be the perfect choice. He would have the chance to be a key piece in the development of a young and promising quarterback, as well as help shape one of the most important units on the team. If the Bears present an attractive contract and a clear vision for the future, the possibility of Zeitler wearing blue and orange could become much more realistic. What's next for the Bears? The NFL offseason still holds many surprises, but one thing is certain: the Bears need to strengthen their offensive line. With a rookie quarterback and a first-time head coach, the team can't afford to repeat last season's mistakes. A veteran like Kevin Zeitler could be the first big step in turning this offensive line from a liability into a fortress. Now the question remains: will Chicago make a strong enough offer to convince him? As a true Detroit Lions fan, I can't help but look at this situation critically. Seeing Kevin Zeitler, a solid and experienced veteran, possibly leaving the Lions to strengthen a division rival like the Bears raises some concerns. Does Chicago really have what it takes to convince him? And more importantly, does Zeitler still have enough left in the tank to make a difference on a team that's still rebuilding? Zeitler has always been a consistent presence on the offensive line. He has playoff experience, something the Bears desperately need in a group that has struggled to protect the quarterback. But honestly, I don't see this move being so simple. Zeitler is already 35 years old, and if there's one thing we know about veterans at this stage, it's that they want to win now. And honestly, the Bears don't seem to be there yet. From the Lions' perspective, losing Zeitler wouldn't be a major blow, but it would certainly create a depth gap on the offensive line. The team is built to compete for the top of the NFC, and they need to keep their most experienced pieces to continue protecting Jared Goff and ensuring the offense operates at a high level. For me, the only way Zeitler would seriously consider Chicago is if he sees a solid project and if Ben Johnson convinces him that the Bears are building something special. But if his decision is based on winning a Super Bowl, I still believe the Lions are a more viable option than Chicago in the short term. So, what do you think, fans? Should the Bears really make a move for him, or should Zeitler stay where he has a real shot at competing for something big? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you want to stay updated on everything about the Lions and follow NFL market moves, don't forget to subscribe to the Lions News Fan Report channel. From the Lions' perspective, losing Kevin Zeitler might not be a devastating blow, but it's definitely not something to overlook. Detroit's offensive line has been one of the most solid in the league, providing Jared Goff with the protection needed to command one of the most productive offenses in the NFL. If Zeitler does leave, the key question is, do the Lions already have an internal solution, or will they need to find a replacement on the market? Looking at the current roster, the Lions have some options to fill the gap. Young talents could step up and take on a bigger role, and the coaching staff might trust the system to keep things running smoothly. But if Detroit feels that losing Zeitler would create a significant hole in the line, it wouldn't be surprising to see Brad Holmes act aggressively to bring in another veteran who can maintain the high level of performance and pocket protection. Now, shifting back to the Bears' perspective, this is a gamble that might make sense for them. But the real question is, would Zeitler be willing to leave a Super Bowl contender for a team still under construction? That's the biggest uncertainty. Experienced players like him usually seek stability and the opportunity to win now. Even with Ben Johnson in Chicago, the Bears don't yet have a roster built to compete in the NFC on equal footing with teams like the Lions, 49ers, and Eagles. If Zeitler chooses to leave, the Lions will need to make the right moves to ensure this transition doesn't disrupt the chemistry of their offensive line. And for the Bears, signing him could be an important piece in their rebuild, but far from a magical solution to their problems. Caleb Williams needs much more than just a solid guard to turn Chicago into a real threat in the division. Now, I want to hear from you fans. Should Zeitler seriously consider making this move, or would he be leaving a real shot at a championship for an uncertain project? Drop your thoughts in the comments.